Welcome. Few developments were as important for the outcome of both world wars than the entry of the United States, first in 1917 into World War I, and then again in 1941 into World War II. And as with any other topic, the best way to research this one is to look at primary sources from the time period. Fortunately, the JSTOR database contains a large number of such sources. Today, we'll look at articles from the publication Foreign Affairs, which still exists today, but which began life, at least in its current form, in 1922, so shortly after World War I. Let's start by pulling up JSTOR. Here is the main page. But instead of typing into the search box, we're going to scroll over to the Browse drop-down menu. You can click on Browse or just place the cursor on top of it. As you can see, there are several ways to browse in JSTOR. These are all worth exploring, but we're interested in the second of these, which reads by title, journals, and books. Here is the main Browse page. You can do two things here. First, you can type into the search box, or you can click on the letter that your title begins with. Since we're interested in the journal Foreign Affairs, click on the letter F. This now brings you to a new page. Let's pause and take a look at this. First, each page has three further sets of links. These are divided by genre. On the far left are journals. Next to this are books, and to the far right are research reports. Foreign Affairs is a journal, so we'll stay here on this page. Now let's look at the list. Two things are notable. First, the title list is alphabetical. Second, on the far right-hand side of the page, we see the years that the publication covers. You can find Foreign Affairs in two ways. First, you can use your web browser's Search or Find feature, which will search the page for whatever you input into the search box. I have a MacBook, so I'll hit Command F. Then I'll type in foreign, and here you go. All titles that begin with foreign are brought up and highlighted. This method is good if you know exactly what you want or need. You don't have to scroll down and filter out extraneous information. However, there is a second way to find Foreign Affairs on this page. Because the title list is alphabetical, you can find it simply by scrolling down the page. This method is more time-consuming, but it's better if you have the time to see what all JSTOR has to offer. And if, in the future, you're going to do more research in JSTOR, then you may find this second method more valuable. But regardless of how you find the title, what matters is that you now click on the link for Foreign Affairs. And here is the main page. There's a lot of information here, so take some time with it. Allow me, however, to point out a few things. First, there are two search boxes. The one at the top of the page is for a general search across all of JSTOR. The second search box is right under the Foreign Affairs heading. This is the search box for researching in Foreign Affairs itself. Beneath this, we see the title history of the journal. Next to title history is a little I inside of a circle. This is called an info circle. This means that more information is available. If you place your cursor over it, this box pops up, explaining more fully what a title history actually is. Beneath this, you'll note that Foreign Affairs has had two previous titles. The second title began in 1919, so after the United States stopped fighting in World War I. Beneath this is the original title, which was used when the journal began in 1910. Clicking on either link will bring you to the main pages of each of the previous iterations of Foreign Affairs. And finally, beneath these is a brief synopsis of what Foreign Affairs focuses on. Now, before moving on, let me draw your attention to one thing. On this main page, on the right-hand side, you'll see the phrase moving wall. Here too is an info circle. Placing your cursor over it, you learn more about what this means, namely, that there is a restriction, also called an embargo, on recently published issues. A moving wall of 3 years means that no issue from any year will be made available until 3 full years after the year of its publication. If you scroll further down, you'll see that JSTOR organizes issues by decade. As with the title list, this decade list can be used either to focus on a particular set of years or even a particular issue in a particular year. So, for example, if you click on 1930s, this is what it looks like when it opens up. It starts with that decade's most recent year and then works its way back to earlier in the decade. Click on a link and that issue pops up. If you have time to really browse, this is a great way to do it, ranging slowly across issues and their contents. But if you're more pressed for time, and I fully understand being pressed for time, then it might be best to just use the second search bar. And that's what we'll do now. Scroll back up now and type Mussolini into the search bar. Many results will come up. They may display differently for you than they have for me, but look to the left. You'll see Refine Results. This pertains to ways that you can organize or refine how results display. Now look for the word Date. And again, if you mouse over the question mark, it will explain how to use the Date function. Go ahead and expand the Date function and type 1945 into the second search box. This will limit results to articles published through the end of 1945. If you typed a date into the first box, this would prevent you from seeing articles published before the date in the first box. But since Mussolini isn't a common name, I'm not worried about older results showing me a Mussolini that I'm not interested in. Now, before I hit the Apply button, please note that I have 408 results displayed. But once I hit Apply, that number drops to 245. On this new screen, you'll see that my date limitation of 1945 also appears here at the top of the search results where it's listed as a filter. But we can further refine how results are displayed. Click on where you see relevance, and when the drop-down box appears, click on Oldest. Now we're viewing results in chronological order. Now scroll down to the article title that reads Lenin and Mussolini. You can download it in 2 ways. Either click on the link or look to the right and click on the download button. At this point, a terms and conditions might pop up. That's fine. If so, just click on Accept and download. The PDF will then pop up, so go ahead and save the document. Now, read the article. It will give you insight into one early view of Mussolini. The author, Harold Lasky, was British, but the publication, Foreign Affairs, was American. So, you might say that Lasky's view on Mussolini gives us insight into a broader Anglo-American perception. Of course, it's just one view. But all research starts off by analyzing just one view, and it continues by analyzing another, and another, and then another. That's all for now. Thanks so much for watching. Please hit the subscribe button. Feel free to leave a comment, and I'll see you next time.